Welcome back, guys, to another one. Welcome to Swift Pours. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to say that later also. We have a cool one for you. Straight out of Dodge City, Kansas, we are going to hit Boot Hill Distillery's 100% wheat whiskey. They farmed the grain that brings you all of their spirits. So with this being a 100% wheat whiskey, all the wheat produced to make this whiskey was done by Boot Hill Distilling, and sounds like the farm is like, I think, within 50 miles of the distillery of where they get all their grains for all their spirits. This wheat whiskey is made with 100% red winter wheat. It's aged over 2 years in new white American oak barrels. I'm really excited to dive on into this, so let's get her going. Let's hit the cork pop. We'll get the nose, the taste, and the finish, and then what you're looking at about price range wise. So here we go. So let's hit the nose on this bad boy. Ooh. The nose is kind of not grainy, but like a hay smell with a little bit of cinnamon. Kind of like a fall decor smell. Like if you walked into Hobby Lobby, you kind of get that fall decor aroma. You get that with this. But it's almost like a sarsaparilla root beer note almost. It's got a really good spice to it. Yeah, it's got some weird spice to it. It smells like fall in a glass with a little bit of hay. Almost reminds you of like harvest season. Alright, let's hit the taste. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sweet. Sweet wheat. You get kind of the fall taste, but for me you get a little bit of oakiness with a tingle on your tongue with those spices. And then you get some of that sweet kind of like sugary note, like a cane sugar note. I was really trying to pull in with that sarsaparilla, but it's more of that cinnamon spice and that nutmeg, and a little bit of that like cane sugar taste with kind of that hay smell kind of comes through with the taste, but not overpowering and not a turnoff whatsoever. A little bit of a leather tobacco note also. It's very mild. I would say that fall spice and that kind of hay grainy taste kind of lingers together, and then you ride that out, and then at the finish you kind of hit that leather tobacco note. It's pretty good. It's different, it's unique, and there's a lot of flavor going into it. You know, going into a bourbon or a whiskey that is aged, you know, close to 2 years, you kind of get scared because you don't, sometimes it can come off really harsh. And with the proof being at 100, that's also another case, is it could be pretty harsh, and that's not the case with this. This is pretty smooth for being 100, and for being so young, it's got a ton of flavor and a lot of viscosity. Well, let's talk about the finish. Let me get another sip of this, and we'll cover the finish. Man, the more you sip it, the easier it is to keep sipping and sipping. I wouldn't say it was harsh at first. There's just a lot of flavor that you can't pinpoint. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of things you're trying to pull from left to right of your mouth, and the finish for me, it does end with that kind of sweet cane sugar, a little bit of the spices at the end, not as much as right up front. You get that oak kind of taste mixed in with the tobacco, like a unsweet tea note almost, and then yeah, you just segue into kind of like a cane sugar, not fruitiness, but that kind of that spice and that hay taste. But that's, oh my god, it's weird. It's just, there's a lot going on with it. It's just, there's a lot of notes to hit. Yeah, that unsweet tea note kind of hits with that tobacco, that leather, and a little bit of a grainy taste of that hay, but it's not super harsh, and you really have to think about that when you're tasting it. I just got a hint of it, and so threw it out there, but it's really, really good. And for being 100 proof, that's really, really calm. And that's surprisingly, it's got a really, really good color for being 2 years old, or just a little over 2 years old. This is freaking so good. So yeah, let's talk about price. Price on these, retail, they were telling me that it's usually $59.99. Most places average around there. I think they said Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, and I think Iowa. I could be wrong there. But they distribute pretty much in those, you know, in those 4 states. But for supporting somebody who does grain to glass or sip to soil, And being on the Kansas side, it's super cool to be able to review. As you guys, I've really checked these guys out. I've also heard that the Distillery Tours are pretty cool. They have a phenomenal bar. Their ambassador is telling me all about it. I personally have not been out to the Dodge City and checked them out, but it's on my bucket list. I really like this 100% wheat whiskey. I didn't know what to expect. Usually the super wheated stuff, it comes off way more fruity. For me, this didn't come off super fruity. To me, it came off like it was a higher, like I felt like I was drinking maybe a high corn bourbon. This was really super elegant, super easy to sip, and it kind of reminds me of like an old dusty whiskey / bourbon. There's a lot of cool like old school notes in there. That tobacco, that unsweet tea note at the same time with all that is really, it pulls that vintage taste together, and I really do enjoy that. If you guys have a chance, please check them out on their website. I will put their website in there, their distillery tour links, and what retail looks like through their shop. I will put their shop info in there as well. It'll be in the video description below. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Check out Boot Hill Distillery. Check out their offerings. And if you see a tasting in the area for these guys, check them out. If you're like me, you want to try some new stuff, try their pre-made cocktails, try their bourbon, try their whiskeys, try it all. Try their gin. I'm not a gin fan, and I actually really enjoyed their gin. Yeah, check these guys out. I'm super excited they were able to give me a bottle to review and bring it to you guys. And I hope you guys go out and take my recommendations and give this guy a try. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Boot Hill Distillery. And as always, cheers.